All right, everyone, we are back for episode 17. 17 of Stub Luv Live. And we have a really dynamite guest on tonight. He's tremendous. He's the man. He's mythical in the world of ticket collecting. Let's see if we can get him on here. See a lot of people joining. A lot of people joining. We got Rob Pagan. We got Papa Jim. Man, I see. Oh, here we go. Michael Jordan tickets. Here we go.
Howard.
There he is. Hold on, hold on. And now, the greatest Michael Jordan ticket collector on the planet, Andrew Goldberg.
That's great.
I
That's
had to
great.
do it, man. What can I tell you? Great introduction for a great guest. So I'm happy to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, Howard. I'm just really appreciative of what you do, for the hobby between, the top 100, with Stub Love Live. It's just such a great service for the community, and I'm just really honored to be here. This is really great.
Yeah, well, I appreciate having you. I see Brandon Johnson on. We got Wheeler's Collectibles saying, yeah, you should have been number 23, episode 23. I goofed up there, but what can I tell you? Well, Andrew, we all know you as kind of the greatest Michael Jordan ticket collector of all time. I know that the last time we heard from you kind of publicly, you were at a certain percentage of completion of every Michael Jordan ticket. So from every game. So why don't you tell us the update and where you stand now and what you're still looking for?
Sure. Well, by the way, a quick trivia question. Do you know what song that is from? That was for the Bulls intro?
Well, I mean, I know it's the Alan Parsons project and I know it's
Yeah.
serious, but I don't know. Maybe there's a little more there.
It's it's a long instrumental intro to Eye in the Sky, basically.
Right. They were
Like
big and high in the sky. Right,
yeah.
right, right.
I think on the album maybe it's a different technically different song, but it leads right into it like it's seamless. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
no actual break.
Yeah.
Um so I'm out of the 1,264 NBA games, which includes all the Bulls and Wizards regular season, the Bulls playoffs, includes 13 All-Star appearances. 1,264 tickets is the goal, and I'm currently at 1,097, which brings me to about 86.5% or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever seen some that you need that for whatever reason you weren't able to acquire? Someone wanted too much money, or the circumstances just didn't let you buy them or trade them or pick them up.
Absolutely. I mean, that happens a bunch, actually. Um, and it's not for games that are that special. Either I just miss them, they were put up for buy it now on eBay and I missed them, or I'm thinking this is a $30 ticket and someone is willing to pay more,
Right.
because again, nothing really special happened in it. But I keep track of lots of different subsets of the collection and everything. And one of the ones that getting really close to completing, really close, is the playoff run. It's 179 tickets, and I have 175 of them.
Wow. Wow. That's cool. That's really amazing.
That's
Um,
fun.
Let me ask you this. I mean, after you get them all, so I see we
Hmm.
got a lot of people here. We got Game Used, we got Doug. I saw we had Jim, the pass guy, Capabianco. I see we have a lot of people here. We got Mike Violi in the house, Sean Doherty in the
All right.
house. Man, we got all the. I see Josh
Hey
Eisenberg. We
guys.
got everyone tonight. Justin Sutterfield. Yeah, they
Oh
all come
man.
out for the GOAT. They all come out for. So let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Andrew. What happens when you get them all? Do you just like start something new, quit, retire, sell them, put them in a museum? I don't know, jump off a bridge. What do you do?
Well, there's a couple thoughts that that I've pondered over the years. One is that when the collection's complete, and it's not necessarily about having the best, the highest grade of each one. I mean, that's nice and everything, but it's about having the complete collection in my mind. No matter what the condition is. And although I do not collect the Ticketmaster versions. I really stick with the season ticket holder versions. Sometimes, early it's hard to get that, and you have to go for like a box office version. But is to approach like the Chicago Stadium, or well, I'm sorry, the United Center, or the Basketball Hall of Fame, or someone suggested one time like the Smithsonian, and see if they have any interest in there being some sort of public exhibition that sort of celebrates his career, because there's so many stories and so many moments throughout his career that people talk about all the time. That I think the basketball fan, the Jordan fan, the Bulls fan would be really interested in seeing something like that.
Do you ever think if you got close and you're missing a few here, that you slum enough to take some Ticketmaster versions into the collection? Or never, ever would a Ticketmaster despicable, disgusting version hit your collection?
Well, the main reason I decided not to go for Ticketmaster was a little bit of the look, because they're all pretty generic, in the way they look, but also for a long time PSA did not slab them. So I just felt that because they wouldn't slab them, there was this sort of legitimacy that was missing, for the Ticketmaster ticket. Now, of course, they do, and they'll mark it as Ticketmaster. But I just kind of solidified my thinking, pre PSA slabbing them.
Gotcha.
But to go
Yeah.
back to your answer, to your question, I probably, if I'm down to like the last 5 or something like that, and that's all that's available, I probably take them as like placeholders to just kind of be there, knowing that I'm still looking for the real thing.
Gotcha. We can't bow down to PSA. We got to do our own thing. PSA is. Okay, so let me ask you this. I know you're still missing the debut,
Right.
Jordan's debut,
Right.
because you're very particular. You only want a red debut.
Correct. Yeah. There's 5 variations that I'm aware of. There's a red and blue that are season ticket holder versions, as I've believed to be true. Then there are 2. Then there's a blue version I believe is a box office version. There is a Tickatron version, and then there is that sort of mysterious misprint on Blackhawks stock version.
Yeah. I don't consider that a real version. Between you and I
Yeah.
don't believe that to be a real version.
Yeah.
I've talked about it with a lot of people. I've been to a million sporting events in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have never had an NBA game printed on NHL stock, vice versa. A football team do it in a big. I've never had it happen, and to me, it's just too coincidental that it happened for Jordan's debut.
Yeah.
So for me, so Sean Doherty's watching. He has a red debut.
I am aware that he has one. Hi, Sean.
Here he goes. Here he goes. Right here. He's coming on. He's spot on. Well, I mean, I know he says I'm spot on, but
Yeah.
I think he'd be willing to part with it. I mean, it may cost you something big, but I mean, it's a little raggedy. Violi calls it like not even a real Jordan debut because it's in such bad condition. But I think it's really awesome because it was in the building. It was there. It saw Jordan play his first pro game, his NBA game. So
No, absolutely. I agree. It would be fantastic to have. And in one of my strategies, as I'm collecting, is also asset collection, so that I do have assets that I can trade for tickets that I will need, when the time comes, when the time is right, or sell, so I have the cash. So
Yeah.
that's part of my, collecting strategy as well.
Yeah, maybe he needs a Jeter debut.
Ooh,
So,
yeah, I don't have that one.
yeah, you got to find one. Hey, Sean, just give it to him. He's a Michael Jordan guy. He needs a red debut. Just give it to him. You got so much. You got everything. Just give it to him. Nah, I don't know. I'm trying, Andrew. I'm trying.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So let's talk a little bit more. Let's jump off of Michael Jordan for a little
Mm.
bit. And we'll get back to him. I know that you actually just had a pretty significant number of really kind of grail tickets that you listed in a heritage auction and sold in a heritage
Yeah,
auction. One of those tickets was a Wayne Gretzky debut. Am I correct?
that's right.
Now,
Yeah.
one of the questions I always ask everybody that's a guest is, what was your luckiest, ticket
Mm.
find? And
Mm.
I think, Andrew, this Gretzky debut this story deserves mention. If what you told me today actually happened, I
Mhm.
will bow down. So tell us about that Gretzky debut.
Well, it was a garage sale in Chicago. There were about 200 or so tickets. No, maybe it was more. It was $200 that I paid for this box of tickets. That was just mostly Chicago tickets. It was Cubs, White Sox, Bears, Bulls, and Blackhawks. Very few Bulls, actually, which was interesting. But I really didn't know what I was getting. It was really just sure, $200 looks good. I'll take it. Um, and so then I start looking through and organizing them, and I know what the Blackhawks 1979 ticket looks like. And I saw it. I did a double take. I walk over to my wife and said, "Let's do the happy money dance," because like here we go. This was an amazing find. Um, and so then I was thinking, okay, well, my go-to was, PSA. So I sent it off to PSA, and it, cost a pretty penny to have it slabbed. And I was, kind of disappointed with the grade. I'm not usually that worried about the grade, but in this case, because I already have a Wayne Gretzky debut, I was looking to sell this thing, and turn it around and see if I could help fund, some of what else I'm collecting. So it comes back a PSA 2. I'm like, bummer. So I end up, um, like breaking it out and sending it to Beckett instead, and just chancing it. Like, I'm already going to be way ahead, no matter what. Even if I'm getting fees, charged for fees twice from both companies, and it comes back a Beckett 6.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, okay, this. I'm going to send this off to Heritage, along with a handful of tickets, but this will be like the marquee ticket that'll hopefully get their attention.
Sure.
And so that worked. And there was a PSA authentic of the Gretzky that I want to say sold. Someone who's watching probably knows better than I can remember, but was around like $23,000 to $25,000 or something like that. And I thought that would be amazing if I can get that. So I'm watching. I'm thinking, because that's a PSA authentic. This is a Beckett 6. Maybe this will go for 30 or more. It ended up going for 16.5, which, look, I'm thrilled. It was great. It was certainly less than I had hoped for, but still, look, that's a great find, a great, turnaround. So I was pretty happy with it.
When you found the ticket, so I know what I would do, honestly, Andrew. I mean, if I found the ticket, I would be dancing. I mean, I'd be
I
screaming. I'd be
I
going
did.
crazy. Yeah.
No, I did. I mean, I went over to my wife, like really excitedly, like jumping up and down. She's like, "What is wrong with you?" you know. And but she's heard enough of the conversations over the years that she understand. When I explained it to her, she's like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome." She understood it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Mike Violi brings up, and that's why I wanted to talk about this Gretzky ticket, this Gretzky debut ticket. It has so
Mm.
many kind of little stories within itself. So it's the find for you
Yep.
in the shoebox, which is just amazing.
Yep.
It also kind of brings out a little bit of PSA versus Beckett in the grading, and PSA finds it a 2. The same guy that worked at Beckett who found it a 6 now is back at PSA, so it's all weird there.
Yeah.
So subjective. And then what Mike's bringing up now is that the auction houses, it's so much of a crapshoot. I put some stuff in Heritage a few auctions ago.
Mm-hmm.
Some things went really high and some things didn't. Buddy of mine
Mm-hmm.
put stuff in, and he hit on a couple of big things. I mean, it really is very much guesswork and kind of a little bit of luck. So I think there's just a little bit of a lesson in all of this with that one Gretzky debut ticket.
Absolutely. And something else I tried to do, I don't feel like I was successful with it. Well, I know I wasn't, is I did try to reach out to some higher up execs, especially in the PR part of Beckett, to say, hey, I want you to be aware of this ticket at Heritage. This arguably is going to be the highest profile Beckett ticket to date at a public auction. And if you were to publicize this, and that helps it go up. Now, granted, I would benefit, of course, but if it goes up significantly high, that will help your ticket business. Yeah. And they just, I did hear back from somebody, and they're just, oh, let us know when it is, but they just didn't do anything with it. But it would have benefited, their ticket business, which I think would have been, good for the industry, good for all of us if they were getting, some more attention.
There's another show, Tickets with Tay, and this guy Taylor is phenomenal. I love this guy. Just great for ticket collecting. He just put out a video on YouTube today about the Messi debut, the Messi Pro debut that just sold in the Golden auction. Went for about $15,000 and a little bit under what I think everyone may have thought it was going to go for. But one of the messages he said was that, it's a pretty big sale in the soccer world, and Golden hasn't said a peep about it. No publicity, no notoriety, other than really him and the other soccer guys talking a little bit about it. It was one of the biggest sales of a soccer ticket, and you may not have heard of it. You may not have known about it, and I think that's just kind of unfortunate. Other than him publicizing it no one's really talked about it in our community. So we should, and Golden should, and Heritage should, and these auction houses absolutely should, because that's the only way we're going to grow this kind of niche collectible. So
I agree.
So talk to me too. You must be a really lucky guy, because you gave me a story today also about a huge Oscar Robertson find that you came across. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes back a few years ago. I came across an estate sale from what I believe to be Oscar Robertson's father. And there was a scrapbook, and I could see in the pictures that there were maybe a couple photos that weren't incredibly crystal clear, and it wasn't a situation where I was able to really ask about it. And I got it, for what I would call a very reasonable price. I mean, I may be able to pay a couple $100 or something like that. I mean, it really wasn't anything exorbitant. And so I get it. And it had a lot of newspaper, clippings, from his high school, college, pro days, that sort of thing. And in it, there were these couple of tickets. And but before I get to the tickets, well, I'll do the tickets first, because they're pretty cool.
Yeah, show us the tickets.
One is this is the his college debut. So with the Cincinnati Bearcats. So let's see if I can show that. I think that's coming across all right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah. And so I sent it off to get signed by him through his website. So I didn't meet him, but I did send it off to get signed, which has been a fun thing for me more recently over the last couple of years, just getting things signed. And then the other thing was it had his final high school game. And there were actually two of them in there. And so I got both of those signed. And so this is when he won the state championship with Indiana.
Wow.
See that.
Wow, that's great. Andrew, that's a great tip.
So that was really cool, but it was just amazing to kind of, if you've ever had the opportunity to do something like this, you're sort of taking a peek inside someone's personal life. Like, this is like the father watching his son, and it's very meaningful, in my opinion. And so one of the coolest things that came out of it that was well, there were a couple of cool other things, but one that I was able to get PSA to mark as authentic is there was what was written as from January 4th, 1958, Oscar Robertson's first letter home to his father since he went to college. And it literally says, "Hello, Daddy. We got into Tulsa this evening around 5 o'clock and practiced for a little while." And then it goes on and it says, I will write you again when we get in New York, Oscar." And so let me just show you this thing. It's from the Alvin Plaza Hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And because he has his name in cursive there, they were able to authenticate that this is him. I had another postcard where he signed his name in all caps, and so they decided not to. They would not authenticate that.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not just a ticket collector, I'm a memorabilia collector. And I tell everybody all the time, a lot of times it's not just, what it is, but what it says, the content. Having a signature is great, but if you have, a letter that has, tremendous content like that, that's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
people are blown away. Or getting comments that people are just amazed. So
Yeah.
that's really cool stuff. Before I get into asking you some more questions, what do you have relative to tickets of Jordan that you want to show? How can I have the Michael Jordan ticket guru on and have him not show some Michael Jordan stuff?
Yeah, I've got a few here that I can show. And look, I think that for better or for worse, I think people know his career, and if you're into Jordan stuff, I mean, not a lot of this is going to be like a surprise. Like this is going to be like, but something that was kind of cool that I recently got, recent pickup was I got his second career playoff game. So that's this one right here, which then completes the rookie year playoffs. So I've got the first one, his second, his third, which is also his first playoff win, his first win in the game, and then his the last one where he lost the series against the Bucks. So there's that.
I like to hear
Again, not
about Jordan losing as a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I like hearing when people say Jordan lost the series. Yeah, I like to hear that. Sorry.
no, it's good. This is also sort of in the category of recent pickups. It's also just like a fun variation of what I've been doing with the collection a little bit is sort of getting athletes to sign infamous moments. So I recently just got back. This is the Pistons walk-off game. It's a sweet ticket, which is it's a pretty interesting looking ticket. And I got it signed by Isaiah Thomas
Wow,
because I thought that would be hilarious.
that's
Now
great.
now when he got it, and he signed it, maybe if he knew what it was, maybe he's thinking, oh, here's a Pistons fan who thinks this is a moment of defiance and he loves what I did. Little does he know, I'm actually sort of mocking him, a little bit by having this signed. So I'm actually looking at cracking this out now and actually sending in to get signed. There's a signing going on with Bill Laimbeer coming up. So I think to have the two of them on this would be just hilarious,
Really yeah.
And so sort of related to that is, and I've had this for a little while though, and I've got a few of these now, and I was just like, I don't know if he's going to sign this if he knows what it is. But there's a really famous dunk that Jordan has on Alonzo Mourning, and so, where he also scores 52 points in that game. But it's the one
That's
where he dunks on him,
dunk.
and then he's like, yeah, right on top of him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got him to sign that ticket.
It's great.
I think Mutombo is having some health issues, maybe, but if he does another signing, I've got the finger wag, and get that signed. I currently have the baseline dunk, over Ewing in the playoffs with the Ewing signing right now. So hopefully he's going to sign that, as well as Pippen dunking on him, which is one of the most disrespectful dunks of like all time.
It's in my opinion one of the greatest in-game dunks ever.
Yeah.
It really is. I have someone here who asks, how do you store or display your Jordan tickets? I'm assuming just because you have so many,
Yeah.
most of them are just sleeved and in, boxes.
Yes. So I have the ones that I consider special or have the opportunity to be valuable in some way, or meaningful, or there's a story behind it. They're going to be have a slab. Um, and then I at least have one in one of the semi-rigid top loaders, and then they're in alphabetical order, by season, and then they're in boxes. Just because there's just so many, and I'm also just sort of sensitive to the idea of having them on display in light and fading and all that sort of thing. So, but I've got them all with easy access. Yeah.
It's very cool. All right, Andrew, we've been talking. We could talk forever. So we've been going 25 minutes.
Yep.
Let's run the gauntlet with you if we could. So let's hit that. Stub or full?
I knew the question was coming. So it's mostly stub, because it's related, but I do appreciate fulls. Fulls are interesting because there's like a story, like why is it a full, especially when you're talking about the pre-scan era. Like I have a full 1996 Game 6 clincher, which happened to be on Father's Day, and the guy told me a story how it was Father's Day and he just forgot, and his family gave him a really hard time, even though it was Father's Day and he was a father and he was at family events and everything. But so there's a story behind it. But most of the time, it's I mean, for value, full, sure, but for story and history in the moment, stub.
I'm gonna take a pause on the gauntlet. I'm just gonna say two things to the
Yeah,
audience and you. Most overrated ticket that I can think of, I think, is the Jordan baseball game where he's playing for the White Sox, and supposedly it's his first MLB game against
yeah.
the Cubs in Chicago. I kind of feel like it's overrated. I'm more along the lines of, like, really his first spring training game was his real first
Hmm.
game. As far as overrated goes when it comes to the Bulls, I mean, and Jordan, that Father's Day game, so underrated.
Hmm.
So memorable. I remember it like it was yesterday, with his dad passing away and being murdered. Really,
Yeah.
um, so memorable, and just doesn't get the kind of love I think it should in our world. PSA, Beckett, or no slap?
I do prefer PSA. However, there are some cases where I'm sending it to Beckett because they can just say more. So if it feels like you can't get the message there appropriately, because PSA is so limited on their characters.
Gotcha. Debuts or moments?
Okay, so okay, mostly moments. Um, if you think about Jordan's career, it's like we're all talking about all the stories, of every game, and that's what I'm collecting. I'm basically collecting moments, right? Um, but and I wrote this down. I just want to make sure I get this right, because I recently came across a scrapbook of the wife of a former baseball player. His name was Al Glossop. He was a second baseman who played an unremarkable career, 309 major league games. His debut was in 1939. And in this scrapbook, there were a couple of like season passes or whatever, but there was one ticket, just one, and it was to his debut. And so I get it that debuts may not be meaningful to all of us, but I knew that it was meaningful to him and his family. And so for that reason, I thought that was really cool. And so it just gave me a different perspective on why debuts can be really interesting. It's got to be like this huge moment, for these athletes.
Yeah, I mean, look at what you found in that scrapbook. Obviously, those were important enough for someone to save someone's college debut, high school kind of tickets. That's really cool. Signed tickets or unsigned tickets, Andrew?
I love signed tickets. I do, especially if it's not random, but there has meaning.
Yeah. PSA 10 ticket or a PSA Pop 1 ticket?
Pop one.
Yeah. I think everyone across the board has said that. Michael Jordan, what would you rather have?
Okay.
Michael Jordan red debut ticket, or kind of the grail of tickets, a Jackie Robinson debut?
Michael Jordan debut.
Oof. I gotta say, you're probably the only one that says
Hmm.
that, but I understand it. We'll respect your answer because of that. and your place and in what you do.
And I recognize how great that ticket is. I mean, the only reason I would get it would be honestly so I could sell it, so I could afford the Jordan ticket. I mean,
Gotcha. So just go for the Jordan ticket anyhow.
yeah,
A Steve Kerr debut or a John Paxson debut? They're almost the same guy.
John
Yeah.
Paxson.
Bigger Michael Jordan moment: the '87 All-Star Game foul line dunk or the flu game?
Flu game.
Why? I'm curious. I mean, that dunk was on every poster on every kid's wall except mine. Was not on mine.
It,
Never was on mine. But flu game was cool. But just I'm curious.
if you had said the '88 free throw line dunk, then that might have been more of a toss up for me.
Gotcha.
But '87 is less memorable because it was not in Chicago. But '88, that's the one that all the posters are of.
So '88 foul line dunk, flu game.
'88 dunk.
Gotcha.
'88 dunk. Yeah.
All right. Scottie Pippen or Larsa Pippen?
Scottie Pippen.
Man, I gotta tell you, this guy Scottie Pippen, he's with this Larsa Pippen. They're having sex 3-4 times a day. He's talking about. She's dating Michael Jordan's son. Man, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, a little weird. But I'm with you. I'm a Scottie Pippen guy. Larsa Pippen, not really my thing.
Yeah.
So, final question. 1998 finals, Jordan final shot. Did he push off on Brian Russell, and was that an offensive foul that he got away with because he's Michael darn Jordan?
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you a ticket from that game, which is probably one of my prize, which is definitely my prized possession here, which is the signed by him. It's one of 4 that are signed by him. Maybe someone else knows. I don't know that you can see the grades of the autographs on the PSA registry, but this is a Gem Mint 10 on the signature.
Wow. Wow.
You really want me to answer that question? Look, the biased answer for sure is that he had momentum going that way. Who said it was like a waiter, or maitre d' just kind of showing you the way to your table. It didn't look like an aggressive push in my opinion.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It was offensive to me, but it's a great moment. And Andrew, how do you not show us that ticket earlier than that? That's maybe one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Well, I was, if you had asked me, what's one of the favorite tickets that you own, that would have been there. I would have bookended it with this one, which is his first game in the Chicago Stadium. So it's the only preseason game from '84 that was in the Chicago Stadium. So what I love about, this ticket, and if you were to talk about undervalued tickets, I'll just mention this quick. I know we're over time here. So first of all, one that I think is overvalued completely is the Iverson crossover on Jordan game.
Agreed.
I think it's silly that it went for like $3,000 or whatever it went for. I mean, in my mind, it's not that big of a moment, and it's like maybe $100-$200 ticket, but hey, people are demanding it. What can I say? But
hey,
undervalued.
Andrew.
Yeah.
You got to give AI some love, though, brother.
I know.
Philly guy, baby.
He's great. He's great. No, it's good. But in terms of undervalued, I feel like the bookends of his first and last appearance in Chicago as a Bull are undervalued. So I feel like this ticket is undervalued, and this isn't going anywhere, so I'm not like trying to pump it or something like that. And then I feel like his last game, which is 1998 home game M, is undervalued. That's just the last time that the Chicago fans got to see him as a Chicago Bull in the state, in Chicago, and I just think those are undervalued.
Always good to hear some, I'm not going to call it investment advice, but suggestions for the ticket collecting community from Michael Jordan tickets. Andrew Goldberg, I got to meet you at the National last year. It was a pleasure to meet you and your wife. I hope you guys are going to be out in Cleveland again this year. And if not, we'll see you next year in Chicago. But I hope you'll be in Cleveland. I hope you'll sneak out there. I really do appreciate you coming on Stub Luv Live. You are amazing. Love you. Good person, good collector. So good for the hobby. Thank you so much for coming on.
Howard, thank you. Like right back at you. I mean, honestly, it's a great pleasure and honor to be on on your show, and just to see all the collectors that I know are going to come after and have come before. It's just it's very humbling to be part of that conversation, part of the group. I feel like a newbie in this whole world still, and I look up to so many of the collectors. This is great. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Be well, Andrew.
All right, take care,
Talk to you.
Howard.
Bye-bye.
Bye.